Hey everyone, I am Distro, and I'm going to run Splinter Conviction, which is the 5th game, and I will start the timer right away. I just have to load Merchant Street Market, which is the first level, and the timer starts as soon as I skip this cutscene, which is now. So yeah, welcome to Conviction. I am being joined by my good friend Director Music in co-commentary. And Director will also explain a bit the difference between Conviction and the other speedruns in Splinter Cell, the previous ones you saw in the marathon, maybe.
Yeah. So, Conviction is one of those games where they try to make it more mainstream by including a bunch of action elements, and it's compared to the older games, it's actually massively different in terms of pacing and how the game kind of works. But also the changes are also very present in the speedrun itself. If you're familiar with the older games speedruns, we have many commonly occurring elements like dialogue skipping, quick save, quick loads. We have crouch spamming, things like that. Here, it's a different story, and especially if you've seen the last run by Distro of Chaos Theory any %, be ready to forget everything you know about Splinter Cell speedrunning, because this is a whole different game. It's basically John Wick meets Splinter Cell. I think that's a very, 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 very good assessment of what you're about to see. And there's so much more happening in Conviction than in any other game. I would probably be confident in saying that, because right after this introductory cutscene ends, we're going to be starting with a very, very strong decision that is basically abandon the gameplay as intended gameplay, and we just make our own rules from now on. So the first thing Distro does is he does an out of bounds. He kind of rubbed against that little sort of wall, and that allowed him to go out of bounds. And here he's looking for a very specific spot to kind of fall through the map. And as he will be falling down, the height value will go from the most negative to the most positive value. So you will see Sam teleport very, very high up in the air in just a moment. And after he does that, he needs to hit a very, very precise spot to... there we go. There was, you may have noticed there was a little stutter there, which meant that there was a loading trigger that Distro got, and that allows us to basically skip a portion of gameplay and just carry on like nothing ever happened. I think it also skips like a flashback sequence, which also acts as a tutorial. And of course, we are experts at the game because we are speedrunners. We also see Dimitri Gramkos, who is one of the bad guys, just teleport straight to the toilet. Because I mean,
I like that.
Look, we all have our needs and our priorities sometimes. And here, what you will see happen is Distro, or well, not Distro, but Sam will interrogate this bad guy Gramkos. And there are different variations of the interrogation animation, and I'm not sure which exactly one is the fastest, but it can save like a third of a second or something if you get the fastest.
This is the
animation.
fastest, the one with the headbutt.
Yeah.
Okay, so we actually skipped a lot of flashbacks at the beginning. So in terms of like the map, we didn't skip much, but in terms of like timing, because we have like flashbacks and a bunch of backgrounds information, we just skipped all of that basically by doing that crazy trick at the beginning. And another thing, during interrogations, if you're close to some objects, like for instance these toilets there, you will actually interact with them when you interrogate someone. It kind of looks cool, depending on what animation it is, but those are slower than the default animations that I'm doing, and there are like 3 possible ones, as director mentioned, and the headbutt is the fastest one.
Don't tell him.
Now, at the beginning of this level, I just did the retry checkpoint at the beginning, which skips basically the fade-in effect, or like there's like the camera panning into the gameplay effect. It's super slow, and we can just revert the checkpoint and skip that. And I just did the skip at the door. You're supposed to like look through the door with a mirror But what I did is I just canceled the animation after starting it, and it thinks I did check the door, and then I can just continue and skip it. Now over here, I just run past a bunch of enemies. I shoot down the chandelier, which will stun these guys. Actually kill them. And this is weapon stash. It gives you ammo, but it also allows me to pick up the 5.7. If you look at the bottom right, you see 4 arrows. That's for the mark and execute system. And whenever you CQC any enemies, like if you knock them out from close combat, you will get the mark and execute meter. And depending what weapon you have, you can mark different amounts of people. For instance, with the 5.7 I have 4, which is the maximum. So I can mark 4 people and then press a button, and then there's an animation where I just quickly take them out. And then here you see me spam a bunch of grenades, which will stun the enemies for a few seconds. Actually, yeah, it's a bit unlucky with the RNG here, but it's fine. And there are also other items we'll talk about later during a downtime in the mid game. We'll talk about equipment more.
Yeah,
now
and
here,
I actually have a question. If I
yeah.
may. I think this speedrun is New Game Plus, right?
Technically, yes, because I have all the weapons unlocked already. Yes, it is New Game Plus. So you just saw me revert while entering this building, and what that did is I skipped a bunch because all the enemies are despawned now. And you see the mark and execute here. I mark 4 enemies. Just can quickly take them out, and I have to interrogate Kobin, which is this guy.
Were you saying something about my daughter?
But yeah, it's a good question, Director. It is New Game Plus. I have unlocked all the weapons and their upgrades already.
I swear I didn't mean it.
So yeah, now we have like
Tell me why.
Yeah, Director.
a very unskippable interrogation sequence, which is pretty slow, I would say. But there's going to be a common theme with conviction. You will see later.
It was just a job. They just gave me a picture.
But yeah, I can actually talk about that skip again. When I entered the mansion, you saw that guard in front of me, and I got a checkpoint during that. I reverted it, put me further into the building, which is quite convenient, and all the enemies were despawned. So that's kind of cool. It's just a very convenient skip that's possible. And yeah, we just go through a bunch of cutscenes now. This is the biggest downtime in the game, and we can actually talk about random stuff if you want, Director. Do you have anything to talk about?
Yeah, there's actually a sort of a discussion point I would like to bring out. You know, maybe that would be in the theme of Splinter Cell, on topic for the game here. You know, if you could, like, say, take any 10 levels from all the Splinter Cell games and, you know, put them into one single Splinter Cell, sort of like in Essentials fashion, which levels do you think would they be?
Casually or speedrunning wise?
Since we're having a speedrun here, I think maybe we can talk about the speedrunning aspect.
Okay, so I'll think about it. From Splinter Cell 1, I think I would include CIA. And Kalina Tech, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Kalina Tech, not so sure about, but that's a fun one, I think. In Pandora Tomorrow, I would include... that's a good question. What would I include in Pandora?
Dilly?
Dilly, definitely not. I think I would include Jerusalem, maybe, because of the music.
Yeah.
And then in Chaos Theory, I think I would include Bank and maybe this place.
Fuel isn't free, man.
No, Hokkaido.
Okay.
Hokkaido.
So that's like 6, right?
Yeah. And then, yeah, Hokkaido and this place, the 6. Then from Double Agent, I think I would include Shanghai just for the memes. There's a new skip there, which is kind of hilarious. And what else do we have? From Conviction, I would want to add... That is a good question. I think Third Echelon and Michigan Avenue Reservoir, maybe. And then from Blacklist, maybe Special Mission HQ, but it's hard to say. It's a good question.
find out what he knows about
That's interesting. I mean, from my perspective, you know, I'm a diehard classic Splinter Cell games fan. You know, I'm not really well, I like all of Splinter Cell games, but you know, I'm more keen on those, you know, earlier ones. So my choices would probably heavily revolve around those. So yeah, I guess I can run down my list if you want to.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I'll keep that in mind.
Anything
else?
Just
So from
before you
Splinter Cell
start,
1
if anyone is sensitive to violence, there's gonna be a scene where Sam Fisher will have to basically slap Grimsdottir, the lady that you see there, a few times. If you're sensitive to that, come back in like around 3 minutes from now, 3.5 minutes maybe. Just as an FYI. It's actually story related. She wants it because it's to like have an alibi because she helps Sam Fisher to get out and she wants to not look suspicious. So she's like, hey, beat me up so it looks real. So yeah, director, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so from Splinter Cell 1, I would probably take, you know, I'm a big fan of Chinese Embassy 2. I guess also CIA, I'm also a big fan of that level. Pandora, I would say Komodo. I like that level. And probably LAX. It's one of my favorites in the game from the speedrun perspective. Even though it's very stressful. I guess from Chaos Theory, definitely Bank. And maybe Penthouse. Penthouse. It's for me. It's just, you know, it's cool that you can use the sniper thing, the sniper attachment. It's very, very rewarding. And I don't know. Actually, one thing I'll surprise you with. I really like the exclusive Essentials level.
I don't even know which one that is. I've never seen it.
It's a level called Norte de Santander or something. It's like an introductory level where you save Shetland.
I see.
Definitely heard that before. So yeah, I kind of like that as well. But I guess I also like the Shanghai level from Double Agent. It's a cool scenery, you know. You're on top of a skyscraper, just kind of ziplining around the windows and stuff. But and I also like that, you know, from speedrunning perspective, I like that that new like out of bounds where you can just kind of skip a huge chunk of that beginning section. So yeah. Also, you know, one thing I guess we can talk about is the game physics of Conviction. Maybe you want to have a bit of insight into that.
Okay.
Which game physics are you referring to specifically? I need to know.
Good work.
Not the.
My car's just outside their security gate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that, but yeah, there are two main methods you will see to go out of bounds, basically, or clip through stuff. And the first one is literally a roll, and the second one is a cover. Well, you turn the cover, it's called cover clip. You'll see both of them in this level. It has like 5 minutes of an intro, like cutscene or like a sequence where you have to press C. It's very stimulating, I guess, in the speedrun. That's a massive downtime, but then after that, the level is basically almost skipped entirely. Spoiler alert, I guess. But you will see the two methods of clipping, like almost back to back, which is quite convenient. But first, I have to... I'm gonna CQC this guy to get my mark and execute meter filled up. I'm gonna mark these guys, but I'm not gonna mark and execute them because I need it later. But I marked them so I can see when they die. The arrow disappears on their head, which is quite convenient. So you can gain height by doing a crab leg kind of movement here. Kind of weird. This is a tricky part.
Which is the same way you clipped out in the first level as well, right?
Yes, it is. This is a very difficult clip, so I hope I can get it. There we go. So that was a roll clip.
Nice.
And the way it works is like collision glitches out entirely in this game when you have a specific, like when you're high enough. I don't know why exactly, but that's just how it is. But yeah, I'm inbounds again, and I skipped a bunch of low triggers, so there are no enemies here I can just run through, which is really convenient. And it looks cool, I think.
Also, that eerie silence just in the background. Where you're
Yeah,
running.
that's also true. But it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of nice. It's soothing. It's
Yeah, you can,
eerily soothing.
Yeah, before the frag grenade explosions that you'll have to do. It's kind of like a nice chill moment for your ears.
Yeah, I picked up a frag grenade and went to the weapon stash to give me more frag grenades. And I picked up the 5.7 again because it has more mark and execute arrows. And now I will do something called the nade boost. I will throw a nade and aim in a specific way so I get on the tires. Again, I have extra height. And now you see the second method of clipping. This is a cover clip. And magic. I don't know why this works, but it's kind of cool.
Push back the call I promised you.
So, yeah.
I think it's just part of the ragdoll physics quirks, you know.
Maybe we will never know. But yeah, mark and execute. You can see why it's very convenient here. Also, shot the grenade inside. There were 2 enemies, and they both died to the grenades. And that was supposed to be a bit clear, but speedrun, you know. Now
Exactly.
we go through this door, which will end the level, and we will enter the Iraq level. And this game kind of changed to the first-person shooter all of a sudden. And the funny part about this next level is that the fastest way to move is to do a sideways crab walk type of thing. It's kind of weird, but it's way faster than going forward for whatever reason. So you'll see that a lot now.
It's also very counterintuitive, I would say.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, I just tried to go past the first set of enemies. When the meter in the hut, it says 225 right now. When it goes to 183, I know I'm close to the truck and I have to like basically move around it. I have that memorized. So you will see me take...
And then...
Whoops. Oh, it's later. It's 163, isn't it? Yeah, I have it not memorized. Yeah.
And then you will see more clipping here in just a second.
But first I have to deal with a bunch of enemies. And I don't have a checkpoint. The one I have is at the beginning of the game. So I'm going to play this a bit safer for the marathon. Because the last thing you want to do is die, because it's super slow in this level. But I think my grenade was perfect. Almost everyone died, right? Everyone died. Cool.
Nice.
Alright.
Yeah, I mean, grenade placements in this game come a long way, I think, in helping you.
Yeah. I get a checkpoint here, so that's good. And now I do another nade boost. But I have to aim very precisely around this plant, and I go out of bounds now, and I will skip all the other enemies by just, you know, maneuvering around from out of bounds.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty interesting that, you know, this out of bounds, like, environment objects, like these little hills and rocks are actually, you know, they have collisions, which, you know, normally you wouldn't expect an out of bounds area to have many collisions, but here you can just walk around like, you know, you're just walking around the neighborhood. And, yeah. A bit of sightseeing, as you can see. Just not looking at the sights, but looking towards spawning in ruins and hills.
By the way, this game usually looks a lot better, but I'm playing on minimum graphics because the plants are different and they have collision. Like if you play on high graphics, you can't do some of the out of bounds stuff because you can't get enough height because, well, just different collision. Alright, we're going inbounds now. I'm going to slide into this building. And I will throw a nade, and it will open the door for me. It will destroy it, and it will boost me up at the same time, so that's nice. And now I go to the end section of the level. There's 2 guards, I just have to shoot them quickly and then interact with Sam Fisher, because that's the plot twist of this level. You're not Sam Fisher in this level, you're Victor Cost. And we're saving Sam.
No way. No way.
And now we get to a big clear at the end, and basically have to kill enough enemies for the ending cutscene to start. And I have a specific sequence where I like kill the enemies, but it's a bit random and quite tricky, so hopefully this will be fine. And I think during the clear I will hand over the commentary to the director, because I will have to focus for like I think 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, of course. So now that we now that this saved Sam Fisher from suffering. They still have to make their way out of there or wait until backup arrives. And here you will see a bunch of action going on as Distro takes down enemies in a very specific fashion. It's also a very loud section, I would say, probably one of the louder ones in the speedrun, as there's a lot going on. And here you can see just Sam and Vic getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, actually there's, towards the end of the clear, there's a bunch of enemies spawning in the middle, and I just pre-throw a grenade where the truck is, and all the enemies in the background just die as they spawn, and that's why this clear goes so fast.
Yeah, normally this takes like at least a couple of minutes. Also, one thing I realized this level is like super, you know, the colors of this level are just so dull.
Yeah.
It's very gray, bluish. And after all this, we're going back to present day to another level where actually we will meet Vic as well. Just this time as Sam Fisher, the other way around. Yeah, now we're in this very fun and very, I would say, non-densely populated theme park. What is this level called exactly? What's the location name?
I think it's called Washington Monument. And yeah. We have to basically interrogate these 3 guards that are looking for us. They're like marked with X's. And I will wait for this guy to come to the shadows. I just grab him here and I interrogate him. And every time I interrogate one of them, and after they're knocked out, a few seconds after that, I get a checkpoint. It's gonna be relevant soon. But what you need to know is, or like an explanation that will make things make more sense soon, is that the guards have like a scripted pathing, but how fast they move is a bit random. But the first 2 guards are in a very good spot. Like you can see this guy's right here next to the first one, so I just can go get him right away. But the 3rd guy is in a horrible spot by now. And the fun part is, if I get a checkpoint and revert it, his position is basically reset. And if I revert after the next checkpoint that I get after knocking out this guy, I will be in a position where I'm close to the 3rd guard, and I can just quickly grab him, and it's significantly faster than just waiting where he is right now.
I was supposed to call it in when we saw you. Backup's waiting.
All right.
Ready to take you in.
Once I see a freeze, like a tiny freeze, I know I got a checkpoint. That's what I'm waiting for right now. Just zooming around. Let me see if I can see it. Here it is. And yeah, as I said, this puts me in a very much better position. That's him for the guard. You see, he's right next to me now. That's a really nice time save. Just have to make sure I grab him when he comes to the shadow. Also, another fun fact that someone once mentioned to me in my chat, and I never got it out of my head. It's like living rent-free in my head. This is a fun fair, but you don't see a single kid anywhere. It's just adults. I always thought that was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's definitely interesting.
I mean, it makes
like
sense.
An adults thing. I don't know.
Because it's like, you know, a violent game. That's why they didn't put kids in it. But it's kind of funny if you think about it. There's not a single kid.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair. Sorry. Another thing I want to quickly mention is that you may have noticed that when Sam enters darker areas, the screen turns black and white. And in previous games, you would have like a separate meter or any other indicator that you're in darkness and you're invisible. But in this game, they went ultra minimalistic, and they just decided that, you know, we're just gonna remove all the colors when you're in the dark. And some people like it, some people don't. It's not, you know, it's a very polarizing, I would say, addition to the game. But yeah, there are ways of disabling it if you know, you really don't like it.
I didn't get you anything.
Yeah, but not a lot in speedrun.
Yeah, of course. You know, just for you know, all sorts of security measures, we like to keep it vanilla.
Yeah, also
so here,
yeah, we have a bit of downtime, but we just got a satchel with like some equipment. We can talk about equipment quickly. We have different types of grenades. Flash grenades, self-explanatory, like any other game, you stun enemies for a few seconds. EMP, same idea, without the flash effect. We have frag grenades, Also self-explanatory, just a normal grenade, explosive. We have EMP generators, which you will see soon, which will stun enemies for a few seconds when you activate them. And there's other stuff too. There's like proximity mines, which is actually from DLC. So again, this is New Game Plus with the DLC content. And proximity mines is basically a mine you just throw somewhere, and whenever an enemy is close to it, it explodes. You also have remote mines, which you can throw, and then you can activate when it will blow up. And I think there are also... is there smoke in this game? I don't actually remember. We don't use it in the speedrun.
That's a good question. I don't remember either. Also, you just saw Sam just eagerly wait for the doors to open. He was just kind of like doing some...
yeah. You just saw the portable EMP in action. I have 3 of them. If you look at the bottom right, I have 2 left. I just time it in a way that I'm most likely to survive, because there's a bunch of enemies here and basically just YOLO run through. But you see the EMP works pretty well. And you will also see remote mines in action very, very, very soon. There's a EMP here. And then there's a bunch of enemies here, just remote mine them. You will see this a lot during the speedrun. We just spam grenades. It's kind of fun, I would say. And that's the end of the level. Actually, no, wait. We have this amazing sequence where you actually press forward.
It was for the greater good, Sam.
It's an interactive cutscene thing. You just walk forward. Once you hit the trigger, the mission is over.
I never did know you.
Yeah, and
know.
in the individual level category of this level, this part is also included in the speedrun. You have to do it.
Once again, we skip the pan, like the fade in, pan in. I don't know what to call that, but there's like a transition where you get to gameplay. We just skip that by reverting again. We ignore this
Skipping
guy.
all the cool effects.
And this is called White Box. This is a really long level casually. In the speedrun, we, well, spoiler alert, skip almost all of it. And this is actually the newest skip in the game. Well, skip variation. Because if you watch a War record, you will see something different strat-wise than what I'm going to do now. It's basically the same skip, but this variation is 5 seconds faster, that you will see. And hopefully I will get it. But yeah, the beginning is just getting to the building, just a little parkouring.
Yeah, basically Assassin's Creed.
Basically, yes, yeah. Or John Wick meets Splinter Cell meets Assassin's Creed, yeah.
Yeah, the list keeps growing. By the way, are you going to do that EMP generator trick that is super risky, or?
Are you talking about the cutscene
At the very
skip?
end of the level.
Cutscene skip,
Yeah.
right? Yes, I will.
Yeah.
We'll get to that
I
soon.
I remember it was, at least a while back, it was considered pretty scary. But this part right here, it may look scary, but it's actually very impressive, I would say, that, you know, we have these out of bounds that you can just
Oh, I actually missed it.
use like that.
That's
Aw,
that's a
man.
new variation of the skip. I just tried it and I missed it, but I'll try again.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, hitting those, like, exact spots is probably not as easy as it looks. Especially with, you know, if you're not used to the movement, which I'm pretty sure Distro is, but, you know, it's a very precise endeavor. Because as you can see, you know, here we see a lot of gameplay being skipped. Even the game doesn't really know what to render anymore. But hopefully,
Yeah, I got the
in a matter
checkpoint.
of time, there we go. After all that crazy jumping around and floating in space, we get to the cutscene skip.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens? I will time my portable EMP precisely, and then activate this thing, and I want to be shot during the interaction, and that gives me a checkpoint. And when I revert that, I basically skip a pretty long cutscene. Actually, I don't know how long it is. Maybe like half a minute, where you like see that guy on the controls being basically electrocuted. But yeah, we just skipped all of that. So you want to be shot there, and then you get a checkpoint, and you can skip it. Kind of convenient. Now we're going to the end of the level, and the next level is called Lincoln Memorial. There's actually a lot of background story to that level speedrunning wise. There used to be a skip called Lincoln Skip, and it was inconsistent. Literally, the skip consisted of just reverting the game a bunch of times until you get the skip. It was completely random. We don't understand how it works. It only works on the Steam version for some reason, which I don't understand either. At least I've been told. But you just revert checkpoint until you skip the surveillance part of this level, and you have to interrogate a guy, and then you have to go into chase sequence. We found a new skip recently, which is not random. It skips the surveillance as well, and it skips the interrogation. So not only is it more consistent, or it's not random, but it's also faster by a significant amount. And this is actually a really, really difficult trick, so I'm gonna have to focus.
Yeah, and here, you know, Distro will utilize one of those clipping methods that were showcased in earlier levels, like the airfield one. However, these cover clips and you know, other clipping methods, they really require a lot of precision, because you need to have the angle just right, you need to have your position just right, and even then sometimes the game will just outright refuse to let you through. But hopefully,
yeah,
we will see Distro coming through that fence in just a moment. Another fun thing here, it's, you know, it's a very interesting setting for the level where, you know, you don't have any weapons, and it's in broad daylight, where you're acting as a civilian, and basically you're, you know, in casual gameplay, you're supposed to, you know, you're supposed to be an employee or something and then gain access to those back areas. But in speedrunning, again, we are only concerned with getting to our end objective in one piece as fast as possible. It looks like this fence is being really stubborn today.
Yeah, I'm actually being quite unlucky with the rolls. Okay, this could work. Ah, okay,
and
there
we go. There we go. So that took a bit of time, as you can see, but luckily Distro made it through. And here, in casual gameplay, here you would chase this, I guess, a rogue policeman or something like that, or like a mercenary dressed as a policeman.
Yeah, it's an assassin.
Yeah, and you can see that there's no one here, but that's because we didn't load in any previous checkpoints that would spawn them and other actors in this sequence. However, as Distro approaches further and further into where we would normally go in casual gameplay, I think right after Distro climbs this these bunch of bricks, and then as soon as he drops down here, the assassin and everyone else will spawn, and then the chase will commence again. And as you can see now, we're back into normal gameplay.
Normally you have a different running animation here during this sequence specifically. If I revert the checkpoint, I'll go for the other running animation. But it turns out that using the default animation with the glitch is really slightly faster than just reverting.
He's outside and on the move again, Sam.
Yeah, and of course, it's impossible to ever catch up to this assassin. You know, there's no way, and it's done on purpose. However, there are going to be things happening in just a moment which are going to be quite shocking. It's going to be a huge turn of events, and this is where things will get a little bit chaotic. However, also fun fact, these NPCs can sometimes be a bit of a... They tend to have a tendency to block the path for you, but...
Oh yeah, this is a cutscene skip. You get a checkpoint right as that starts, and then you can just revert and you're faster into the next segment, basically. Over here, we have a big clear. But I will start by headshotting the first guy and then CQCing the other one. You saw me delay my shots a bit, but that's because they are invincible for, well, a few seconds until they start moving.
Yeah, and if you're wondering how Distro knows where all the cars and enemies will be stopping and getting out, is because these spawns are set. They're not random. They're just scripted to stop here in certain locations and at certain times. And they basically spawn in after every, let's say, wave is completed. And I think that was all with the waves, right?
Yeah,
And that's the wrap on Lincoln Memorial. By the way, we'll be seeing a bunch of those flashbacks throughout the speedrun.
Actually, thinking it was a flash forward. That's at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, sorry, flash forward. Well, you know, it kind of looks like a flashback, but it's actually foreshadowing.
Yeah, the whole game is basically a flashback in a way.
Yeah, you could say that. So now I'm pretty sure Distro's gonna want to maybe focus for a little bit. This is third echelon, and the beginning part of it is, I think, pretty annoying to get right, or at least one of the parking lot sequences. I'm not sure when that comes exactly, but
Actually, I can
basically
handle
there's
commentary for a bit until the next sequence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I first of all knocked out an NPC and touched his body because he has a keycard for the elevator coming up. That's you have to do that. You have to at least kill one of them or knock out one of them and then get their keycard. And then I have to place 2 C4 charges. But I'm doing a more marathon save strat. There's I think an 11-second faster strat than what I'm doing right now. But this is way safer for the marathon. And after planting this C4, I get a checkpoint. And I revert the checkpoint because it will reset the guard's position. Like all the guards are reset now. And
yeah.
this is good because I can go to the elevator without any issues now.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind, the reason why I Distro for strat is because here you are not allowed to be detected at all. At least not until you know, hit a certain part of the level. And if you do get detected, you know, that fails the mission. So that's why he had to be careful.
One thing third echelon had always.
All right, now I do another revert checkpoint to skip a cutscene. That's very common in this game. And we go through another cutscene that I can't skip. But after this cutscene, that's when conviction speedruns start to really shine and become just more and more crazy. We will have skip after skip after skip after skip for a while.
As if it weren't crazy enough. But yeah, that's completely true.
And just as an FYI, I will not get a checkpoint for like, I think like 3 or 4 tricks back to back. If I mess up, it's bad. So scary for a marathon, but I'll try my best. Especially you can also stop log if you mess up, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, that's the fun of it, you know. You just sometimes get the, you know, you have to risk for the sweet reward. And you know, once you do get all these, it's very satisfying to witness everything coming together into this crazy speedrun. And in fact, the way Distro will start off is by doing another one of those crab walking, rubbering, bending upwards on the railing here. It's a bit finicky here. It takes a while to get it, and eventually, there we go. Eventually, Distro gets it here, and that allows him to do a clip through here by doing the roll, and that also gave him a checkpoint which he reverted to continue forward through the lasers here. It's very important that he, you know, doesn't trigger the lasers because we're supposed to be stealthy here. Yeah.
When I hit the laser, the turret will shoot me down, basically. But also, this was the last checkpoint you will see for a while, so it's really important that I don't mess up here, and it's getting crazy. Yeah, director, you may continue.
Yeah. So what Distro is doing here is basically you're supposed to have a confrontation with Coben for the second time here, and you can actually hear him in the background. But what Distro is doing here is he's setting up a very elaborate. I think it's called third echelon skip, right?
I don't know. There's multiple back-to-back. I think this is Coben skip in third echelon, but I'm not actually sure.
Yeah. But you know, this is like one of the probably the most prominent ones for sure, because there's a long setup to it. And here, I think this is like the cover skip, right?
Yeah.
Where there we go. Distro clipped through out of bounds.
Messed up. Actually, I have to revert.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes these reverts happen because, as I said, you know, these out of bounds things are very precise endeavors where you have to literally, you know, be very on point with your movement and your angles and your positioning. And the unfortunate thing about this clip is that there's a very elaborate setup. You know, you see him rolling here on the railings and being very careful about the movement, but luckily Distro knows what he's doing. He can get back here in no time. And here we see him clip again, and you will also see him shoot here to kind of bounce backwards. And now he's completely out of bounds, and he will quickly fall into bounds in just a moment. But before he does that, he's gonna walk around a little bit forward, and then another cover skip here. Now I'm not sure which variation Distro will do. Probably the cola skip here by the vending machine with the Coca-Cola, or not Coca-Cola, just no brand cola. And that allowed him with that frag grenade to clip through to another part of the map where basically he skipped a very slow sort of sequence where you have like a cutscene with Lambert and Grimm's daughter and all this stuff, and then you have a lot of shootouts going out of this building. But Distro skipped all of that in a spectacular fashion, and that takes him to, I believe, Michigan Avenue Reservoir.
Correct, yeah. So over here, I will stun the enemies by timing portable EMPs. I have to be careful not to mess up here, because I don't want to be shot down. And I'm going to go out of bounds off camera, with, like specific rolls. Let me see if I can get it. That looks good. I think I got it. Yeah. So another scary thing is I don't have a checkpoint again, so I have to hopefully get this first try. And it's very precise too, so this could be a bit scary.
Yeah, this looks pretty similar in terms of execution to at first to the first out of bounds in the game. However, it's just a regular out of bounds. It's not any crazy teleportation stuff going here. But yeah, there's going to be a lot more out of bounds on this level. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that was a massive skip now.
Right about then.
It's also a relatively new variation. Like the way to go out of bounds was different back in the day. Very recently, you used to like nade clip through an invisible barrier, but now you do that like off-camera roll. And also the way to go inbounds is different as well.
Yeah, yeah, and also you saw like a bunch of enemies. Let me just tell you right off the bat, Distro has a plan for that. And it's nothing very elaborate. It's just same old, good old EMPs. And they come really in handy in situations like that. And that's going to be coming in handy in some other sections later on as well.
And water remains wet. What do you got?
Alright, we will see a bunch of nade clipping here. I will basically gain height through... Oh, that's the wrong grenade. My bad. Actually gonna revert that for because I want more grenades. Yeah, I was supposed to use the remote mine. I had frag grenades equipped.
And I think what helps with these like grenade clips is that you're playing on rookie difficulty. You know, there are different difficulty settings for the game. And I might be mistaken, but on a higher difficulty, you take more damage probably.
You just die, yeah.
So yeah, so it's important that you play on the rookie difficulty to actually pull these stunts off.
Come on. Okay, that should work, I believe. Unless I get stuck here. Really?
Come on.
Well, that was interesting. It should be fine.
There we go.
All right. We skip a lot of the level here. There's like a massive clear. You have to fight so many enemies. There's like a helicopter is annoying. And now we can just go out of bounds to the end of the level, and we skip a bunch of load triggers. So the aforementioned helicopter is actually not loaded in correctly. So we'll see a cutscene with an invisible helicopter. It's basically a floating turret. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, basically Sam Fisher will be just scared of covering away from just air.
It's also kind of funny that every building in the background is white except for the White House. Well, it's technically the Capitol building,
that's
but
true. That's true.
But I think it's funny. But yeah, you see this helicopter that's invisible now because of all the skipping. Now we have this cutscene where Sam reunites with his daughter. So that's like one of the most important game points story-wise, because. Should we talk about the story a bit, or?
Yeah, I mean we can definitely. Yeah, so basically, I guess this is a bit of a spoiler. So if you don't like spoilers, you should probably skip a bit, like a minute or something, maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But in Double Agent, it is revealed that Sam's daughter, Sarah, has been killed. And then Conviction is basically him chasing a rumor that, you know, basically she might be alive. And then she works with Anna Grimm's daughter, who actually brings her back to him. And that's the very climactic moment that we just saw. But after all that, we are now in Downtown District, which has surprises of its own.
Strike. Well, I missed one.
Nice.
A strike.
That was a spare. That was a spare.
That was a spare, yeah. But it's fun to just spam grenades sometimes. No,
Which there are going to be plenty of in this one.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention is that in this sequence, I can't run anymore because a bunch of civilians are just, supposed to be dramatic. But there's a huge EMP that went off. The whole city is in shambles. But I prefer the explanation that the real reason why this chaos happened is because it says speed limit 25 and someone went above that, and this is the result. So this is why you should never be speeding.
I mean, just speedrunning, we're not following the rules here. We're breaking the law by speedrunning.
This is also why we're walking slower. We don't want to speed. We don't want to... Oh, I think I went too fast. Oops. Another explosion. My bad. Always respect the speed limit. But yeah, after I get around the corner...
really went fast.
I will get back to the normal gameplay. And it's going to be a lot of run and gunning, or like throw grenades and running, and occasional gunning. Yeah,
running and grenading. And also one thing that is very apparent when you play on rookie difficulty is that in some capacity, also those vehicles just stop just immediately. That's pretty funny. But you can see that Distro is able to sustain a lot of damage from the enemies, and that's in large part thanks to the difficulty that he's playing on. This definitely wouldn't be sustainable on like higher difficulty.
I would still like to mention that you die super fast compared to other Splinter games in this one. It's just that I time my grenades so well that the enemies don't really get shots on me.
It was a
For the most
Yeah,
part.
and I think wait, is this the first Splinter Cell game where you have health regen? No, I think Double Agent.
Double Agent
has health. Yeah.
Doing another
Which
out
is,
of
of
bounds
course,
here.
Good for sorry.
Don't worry. There's normally a bunch of enemies there. And the out of bounds I'm doing is skipping all of the enemies, but getting inbounds is super inconsistent. So we have to rely on marathon luck in actual, like I actually mean luck. I have to get lucky to get inbounds now. If I miss it, I have 4 mines and 4 tries. If I miss it, I'll just play the game, the sequence normally. But I hope this works. This is a cool skip. I wanted to show it off.
I wish you most of luck.
Thanks. Maybe go more to the right.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, first try.
There we go. Wow.
Nice.
Talk about marathon luck, huh?
Actually, yes. Unironically,
Actually,
yes.
marathon luck working.
Yeah, unbelievable. That is super inconsistent, by the way. I'm glad I got the first try. You have no idea.
So yeah, now we're in, I believe this is the final level, yeah?
Yeah, White House.
Yeah. And here we have immediately just a bunch of running and grenading, which is, as you may have noticed already, very, very common theme. Runading, yeah.
The chandelier will stun the enemies for a few seconds, just enough for me to get past them. And here we have to interrogate the vice president, but first I have to get rid of the enemies. I just
Who is actually a bad guy, just to give context. This sounds like, very, very bad, but he's a bad guy in this story, so...
I still wouldn't recommend doing it IRL, just saying. Even if the vice president's a bad guy,
definitely not
don't
recommend.
do it.
Definitely.
Also, we can pretend this is Agent 47 from Hitman.
Yeah, basically, all we need is just Solid Snake just appearing from the background.
Oh, really?
A little bit graphic, maybe.
You shot me!
You know, you need to work on that whole bulletproof thing.
All right, so there's going to be a bunch of enemies here. The door is going to open. They're going to rush, and there's a bunch of enemies in the room, like spread out. And the idea is I will just try to YOLO my way through. That's the turret IQ strat I have. Just get lucky on YOLO. I just spam some nades to be more likely to survive, and there we go. Now we get to the last segment of the speedrun, basically. And we start again with a bunch of run and gunning or runading again. There's a kitchen section, which is quite random. If I get unlucky, I might die. But that was really good. There's a turret here, but I will just use movement where I know that will survive. And because the turret is annoying, I'll just throw a remote mine behind it and then get rid of the NPC that's shooting it. There we go, perfect. It's actually way harder to survive that than it looks at first.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of precision involved. And actually, speaking of precision, there's going to be a very precise cover clip that Distro will have to do in just a moment. Which, you know, is very, very crucial, especially in, you know, PB setting runs where you're aiming for a personal best time.
Yeah, it's the last big boss of the speedrun, basically.
Yeah, yeah. It's not even like the last part of the game, but, you know, it's the true final boss, for sure. And it is right here.
I have to line up this table in a specific... That's unlucky. In a specific way. Can I still make that work? Would you please stop tabling around? Thanks. No! Okay.
No.
This could... I'm gonna try it. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. It doesn't look good to me. Actually, no, I'm not gonna even bother. I know this isn't gonna work.
I like how this table is just indestructible.
This could work if I'm really lucky. If not, I'm gonna just revert.
I mean, you were lucky with the
there we go.
Marathon luck part 2.
And I just hit the checkpoint. That's where normally Grim... that's where the part that was foreshadowed, the flash forward you got during the run where you, like Grim is escorting Sam Fisher. And we just went to that hallway without going through the Grim scenes at all. And now we're in the ending sequence. I just have to mark these guys and wait for dialogue. And then after a certain point, I have to press C to take down the bad guy in front of us, Reed, and his friends, I guess. And yeah, it's pretty much the end of the run. I mean, it takes like 2.5 minutes from here, but in terms of gameplay, it's pretty much it. There's only like some clicks left and some small inputs.
Yeah, I mean, the true end of the speedrun of Conviction is comically, you know, trivial compared to everything that's leading up to it. Because we usually imagine like the final sections being very crucial and very, very difficult to pull off correctly and precisely. But here is just 2 minutes of downtime, a bunch of clicks, and boom.
Last time I checked, he was dead.
Yeah, basically Reed will approach us now, and then there's like a prompt, I think press C to, I don't know what it exactly says, but I'm just gonna spam C until he's close enough, and then it will work. Alright. And now, we talk to Reed a bit. We have 2 options. We can either shoot him or slap him, like 2 times. You get the choice 2 times, and then at the end you can either shoot him or spare him. It is faster to just shoot him. It fades black. It fades to black right away, and that's when yeah, when the run finishes. Also, I just shot this guy. It's slightly faster, but it's almost the same speed as slapping him. I will do 1 slap just for to give you a reference of what it looks like.
For the memes.
Yeah, so we see both scenarios. And the timing will end. Wait, I'm gonna get to that soon, and I just have to press C for a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna slap him now. Alright, so now we see the end of the cutscene for a bit. And after that, when I get control again, I can either left click to kill him or C to spare him entirely. And I will left click, and that's the last input, and that's where the timing ends officially. So basically when I shoot, it's run over. So
Thank you.
let's get ready for
Could happen
time.
any minute.
Oval Office is secure. We have the president. POTUS
Just a
state
final
base.
moment here, final stretch. Some boring dialogue.
All right, this is the end, and pew, that's it. That's conviction.
Yay!
I also like the end
Nicely
time. It
done.
says 54:45. Thanks. It's like mirrored. I like that.
Nice.
But yeah, that was conviction. I would like to speak out a thank you to ShotsFired for allowing so many Splinter speedruns to be part of it. I really appreciate that. A shout out to the Splinter community, the speedrun community, also the speedrun community as a whole, also other games. It's a very nice community, and also a huge thanks to Director Music for the great co-commentary. Thank you for that, Director.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for
You're welcome. And yeah, if you want to see more Splinter Cell speedruns, I stream them quite actively. I pretty much speedrun every single Splinter Cell main series game. Director Music also speedruns a lot of Splinter Cell games. The first 3 and Essentials, if I'm not mistaken.
The best game ever.
Yeah.
I thought so.
And yeah, feel free to check us out if you want. And that would be it from my side. I hope you enjoy the rest of the marathon.